Hey, happy Sunday to you. I'm Eric, and you're watching Eric's Crypto Corner. I'm a tax accountant with over 17 years experience in the industry, and I've been in the crypto space for over 5.5 years now, mining crypto, buying, selling, and storing. Let's go ahead and start today's video. All right, it has been a busy week. Not at work. I didn't work a whole lot last week, but man, the crypto stuff has really been going bonkers this last week. And a lot of us have been kind of waiting for years and years and years for crypto to be profitable again from a GPU mining standpoint. And we have Pearl now. So I'm sure that a lot of people watching this video have already heard of Pearl. I'm obviously going to be doing a video late to this because I've been mining it and setting up rigs and all this other stuff. And I just was spending so much time working on doing my own little thing that I am a couple days later than what I'd like to be on doing this video. Now, what is Pearl? I'm not going to get into the details of it, but in short, it's a proof of useful work crypto project that is basically AI driven. I'm not going to get into the details. Like I said, you can easily read the white paper on it on Pearl's website. You can follow, Ask AI, whatever you want to do. But in the short end of the stick, it's just kind of following the same method of profitability as like a Salad and a Vast and these other types of GPU rental rigs. And so really you're mining, I don't want to say a proof of work coin is proof of use for work. It is a little bit different, but it is in the AI space, similar to those other projects. Now, instead of getting paid in Amazon cards or PayPal cards or whatever, like Salad does, they will actually pay you in its native crypto coin Pearl. PRL is the ticker symbol for it. And when you get into this project, the first thing that I always say is, well, yeah, I do not want to be holding a microcoin. I do not want to do that. How easy is it to swap this thing out? It's really easy, actually. So once you start mining on a graphics card, and this can be an older graphics card, we're talking 30 series GPUs. I think even 20 series GPUs are profitable. We'll take a look at that in a second. But you're easily able to swap it out into other cryptos. Now you can swap it to just a stablecoin USDT on Safe.Trade. That is a decentralized exchange or trading platform that basically doesn't require any KYC, doesn't require any kind of identification, and you can deposit all your Pearl there and trade it as you see fit. Okay. Now, I'm going to be going through a couple different things in the video here, but that's what we're going to be talking about today is just the general profitability of Pearl that I've had over the last 5-6 days that I've been mining it, the ups and downs of the price of that, and the software used in order to do it. All right. So, Hashrate.no is wherever anybody goes really to look and see what the profitability of any coin is. Now, I'm not going to look at AMD cards. I know that there is some setup with AMD cards, but if you have an NVIDIA card that you've been using for Salad, Vast, these other projects, obviously Pearl is way more profitable than those types of things are. Now you can look at the GPUs. Now I don't have a 5090. I don't have $4,000 laying around to buy a 5090. 5080s are about $1,500. So I just don't have that kind of money. But a couple of years ago, I bought a 4070 Ti Super for Salad for about $800. And you can see that our profits are about $7 a day. That blows the lid off a Salad because I was making about anywhere from 50 cents, maybe 75 cents a day after profit because Salad consumes so much more power than Pearl does at 15 cents a kilowatt hour. I was making next to nothing. It was about $5 to maybe $10 a month profit on my 4070 Ti Super, whereas now I get that profit in one day. Okay, so I can burn 30 days on Salad and make that amount of money, or I can burn one day on Pearl and make that amount of money. Some other good cards at the top, obviously 5070 Ti. That's about $1,000 card right now. 4070 Super, 3090s, 4070. Now the other GPU I have is the 4070 that I bought for like $600 a couple years back. That's still making $5 a day. So very, very good profits between both the cards that I have. So as you guys know, I have a 4070 and a 4070 Ti Super. I'm not rich. I can't afford these big, 5090s. I find it interesting that a 3090 makes very, very good money. Now, keep in mind, Hashrate.no hasn't caught up with all of the GPUs here. So the one thing I'm going to see just when I'm looking here is like, where's the 4090, right? So a 4090 is going to make more than a 4070 Ti Super, and it's probably even going to make more than a 5080. So, depending on your GPU, you can look at this here. But when we scroll down, I actually just bought a 5060 Ti 8 gigabyte. So I think it's going to be in kind of the $2 to $3 a day profit. I'm going to test that out later today. But you can even see a 5060, it costs you like $350 or $400 for a 5060, and it makes you a $3 profit per day. All right. So like 100-day or 120-day ROI on these things. This is back in the day of like Ethereum mining profitability. Okay. 2080 Ti, right? We were just talking about this, the 20 series cards. 2080 Super making almost $2 a day, 2080 $1.75. 3060 even makes $1.50 profit per day. So you can even scroll down here and just see like, wow, some of these things, I don't know why. Oh, sorry. Once you get past here, the A2000, the 4080, guess what? It hasn't updated yet. And you can see that the Cubic coin, all these other crypto projects are still down here. So these cards haven't even been updated yet with the profitability. That's how new Pearl is. But just so you know, these graphics cards, pretty much any NVIDIA graphics cards in the 3000 series and above is going to be making you money. Okay. All right. Now you're saying, okay, well, yeah, I'd like to put my graphics card on Pearl. It consumes less power than Salad AI does. I don't have to wait to get jobs, which was always annoying, in Salad, that sometimes your rigs are rented and sometimes they're not. You want to get started. Okay. Well, for me, I've tried two pools. The first pool was the native Pearl pool. I don't like that as much. Personally, I don't think that the miner gives you a whole lot of information. Just kind of tells you your hash rate. And I feel like the payouts and the amounts of Pearl that you're getting are very variable, if that's a thing. So Alpha Pool was the guy that I started watching, and he's got his own pool set up. So if you want to get started, I'd recommend either one of those two pools. I think a Lucky Pool also does some. I have not tested that one, so I can't really recommend it. But for me, Alpha Pool, which is pearl.alphapool.tech up here, is where you're going to want to start. This is where I recommend. Now, when you get started here, is basically saying you're going to have to get a Pearl wallet set up. Not really true. You don't have to have a Pearl wallet set up. You can deposit your Pearl right to Safe.Trade, which is what I do. I just mine directly to that exchange, and then the deposits go there, and I can just sell my crypto as I want. Now, if you want to have a separate wallet, you can go ahead and follow the instructions here and install a Pearl wallet. There's a couple different options. I'm not going to go through that because I didn't do that. All right. And then once you get your Pearl wallet set up, you're going to go ahead and run the Alpha Miner. And you have two choices here. You really have Linux, which you can do. I've tried the Linux setup here by using Ubuntu in Windows. I didn't care for it. I felt there was a lot of drop shares. I was not getting the hash rate that I wanted to see. It was significantly lower than using Windows. Now, other people are probably doing fine with it. Maybe they have it on, a dedicated Linux machine. Maybe they just have a Linux OS, whereas I was just using it kind of right through Windows. Otherwise, you can also do this through Hive OS. Now, I don't do Hive OS a whole lot. I've kind of gotten away from that because I've been in Salad so much. But if you're using Hive OS, you could also do that. I'm not going to get into that this video. But what I did was I did Windows, and pretty much what you're going to do is download the miner here. It's going to warn you that it's a virus, blah, blah, blah. So obviously you're not going to be wanting installing this on like your main, if you've got a work computer or anything else. So a dedicated rig, like a dedicated salad rig, I'd go ahead and install that on. And the other thing that you're going to want to do before you install this thing, to be honest, is going to be to get the Docker software. So in order to run this Windows program, you have to download a Docker first for, obviously most likely AMD 64 for your computer. It'll download that. I'm not going to go through all the steps because I've already done it, but you can download and install Docker on your computer. And once that's downloaded, you will have to set up an account. Okay. You will have to set up an account with an email and get a password and all that other stuff. And keep in mind, you have to have Docker for one instance of your miner. So if you're doing what I'm doing, where you've got a couple different graphics cards and a couple different systems, you're going to have a couple different accounts set up at Docker. Now I'm probably going to consolidate my cards and maybe put them all in a rig. But you do have to install Docker first. Don't try to install the mining software first. All right, now once you get Docker installed and you download and install the Alpha Miner here on your computer, it's just going to basically walk you through a very simple, what's your mining address, and you can use your Pearl wallet if you set one up here, or you can use your Safe.Trade account address, which is what I'm doing. And it'll also ask you to put in a worker name, and it'll also ask you like what mining pool do you want to do. And you can just select the, 556 pool. You'll see it when you're, I don't know if it mentions it down here, but you can just pick the default pools and the default ports, and you can basically click go and you're good to go. Now, once you have this thing installed, it's going to have like 4 bat files sitting on your desktop or wherever you install it to. You just run Alpha Miner one time. You should be able to see it running by watching the logs bat file. And again, I'm not going to get into all the details here because I think there's more than enough videos on how to do that out there. But at the end of the day, once you start seeing your logs, basically rolling and seeing that you've got shares accepted, then you can come over to your dashboard here. Oops, come over to your dashboard. So here's my Pearl address, and you can see I've got 2 workers going here. Hopefully that updated. It did. Okay. I've got 2 active workers going, the 4070 Ti Super and the 4070. How many shares I've accepted over a 24-hour period, my hash rate over a 1-hour period, and your balance of Pearl. Now, one thing I've noticed about this dashboard is, number one, it's not really live. Okay. Like if you're going to use the pool over at Pearl, the like native pool, they do update pretty accurately to live with their hash rates and everything else like that. So I would be really not be paying too much attention to your hash rate on the hashboard for the current. I'd be looking more at the 1 hour and the 24 hour. I think this hash rate is kind of like if you hit a difficult share, it really pops up. If you submit a bunch of smaller shares, it probably goes down. But I know by looking at Hashrate.no, I should be at about 130 something on this one and like 90 something on this one. And when I look at my logs, when I'm watching the actual screen that the miners are on, that's what it's reporting. And when I look at my 1 hour and my 24 hour, that's actually pretty spot on. Okay, these numbers are pretty spot on to what's supposed to be happening. And you're going to be seeing here that there's just this delay on Alpha Pool's Pearl reporting here that, it only reports like every so often, like it only updates every so often. So you sometimes have to wait 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. So don't get discouraged if you haven't seen anything show up on your dashboard when you put in your Pearl mining address here, especially if you just start getting started. Now, here's your difficulty that you're solving or have solved. So you can see the difficulty is there. It says your status is online. You can see also your pending balance. Every 4 hours you get paid out Pearl. This is not instant. Okay. But this tells me how much I've been totally paid, which is 72 Pearl, which is just the daily stuff here. So you can see I started on 5/26. I just started with my 4070 Ti Super. This one I had my 4070 Ti Super on just that day. And I think the 4070 just started at the end of the day. This one I was kind of doing a lot of testing, so there were a lot of ups and downs times. I was switching rigs around. And then the last couple days have been pretty much full tilt. 29 and 30 have been pretty full tilt. I did move the 4070 downstairs instead of being upstairs. But you can see I'm making about, 16 to 17, 15 Pearl per day just on the two GPUs. Okay. Now today we've already been paid out 8 so far, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. So we're about halfway through the day. So we're on par to still be in that, 16, 17 range. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with Pearl is going to be the price. Okay. So obviously this is a very unique crypto project in that it's doing some AI stuff. But in order for it to be going up in value, we have to have more buyers than sellers. And now I started on the 26th, which is where we've got this thing. And I started mining right at about 62 cents. So it's right about here is when I started mining. Now this is kind of a couple of days, I think, after it had been like known like to the world. So you can see like the first day was even mining was the 24th. So I was about 2 days into it. But Pearl, probably had gotten some customers. People were buying compute and renting these rigs out. And it was like, wow, it's going crazy. I'd actually gone all the way up to about $1.66, somewhere around there, it looks like. So you can see that had you started mining down here and you were holding, at 50 or 60 cents, and then, you decided to sell it, $1.20 or $1.30 or whatever, you would have doubled your money in just a couple amount of days. Okay. This is not advice to go out and run or buy a bunch of GPUs. I am buying one. I'm not going to buy any further GPUs until I see this thing settle out. But you can see there's a lot of people buying. And right about here is probably where Red Panda and some other big miners decided to make videos, and then everybody started hopping on, and then all the people started selling. So obviously there's more sellers than there are buyers, from the 26th through the 27th almost. Well, hold on. No, I'm reading this wrong. From like that's May 26th. This is the 29th through about the 31st, which is today. Okay. So, it looks like it's been in a selling pattern for the last 2 days. And as of the last, maybe, I don't know, 12 hours is pretty much settled out, it looks like. Now, could this keep going down? Absolutely. There could still be more sellers than buyers. Could it go up? Absolutely. Nobody really knows. But even at its current price, you're still making way more mining Pearl at 15 cents a kilowatt hour. That's my power. Your power may be different, but you're making a lot more mining Pearl than I'm doing Salad. And I don't have to be frustrated with Salad updates, Windows issues. Salad just had a big network outage the other day, I guess, where everybody had to restart their computer and everything else like that. So apparently it was a big mess. So this is just, you want to mine. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time, whatever you want to do. Okay. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say about Safe.Trade is, I don't think anything on yours personal. No. So really it is very, very easy to sell your crypto. It's literally like 2 clicks. So when you get your 4-hour deposits, you're going to see your Pearl number go up. You just come over here and click trade. You go Pearl USDT, and then you just come over here and put in your amount of Pearl that you want to sell. Like I only have 0.4 left, so I can't sell anything right now. Oh, maybe I can. Well, so I'll get 78 cents. But I normally just use round numbers. Okay. One other thing about this is I did withdraw my USDT. I think I can click on this. I don't think there's anything bad on there. Blah, blah, blah. That's all my withdrawal addresses. We should be good there. So needless to say, you can pick to choose your USDT withdrawal either on Binance, Solana, or Ethereum. Now you can see, I don't know if this is showing up on the screen. It is. Okay. You can see that Binance, Solana both charge $1 every time you withdraw, whereas Ethereum charges $3. So I'd recommend you get your USDT on Solana or the Binance chain there. And you can see the very first day, I just do this daily. Okay, I've been withdrawing every day. I've been converting every day. Other people may have different methods. Maybe they want to, I've heard some other people have been keeping half and selling half into USDT. So they're holding on to their half of the pearl and they're selling the other half of the pearl. Some people are just holding all of it. I'm selling all of it. I don't care. Okay, I'm here for the short term. I don't believe Pearl is the next Bitcoin. I just don't think it's going to last. From a profitability standpoint, I think it's all going to even out sooner or later. But the nice thing is that by having another project in competition with mining other projects, is that the other projects should also go up in profit because there's less traffic on those networks. But you can see I'm just selling out every day, and I've had no issues withdrawing these funds from Safe.Trade. Okay, wow, that was a lot of information in this video. Again, I'm not going to go through a step-by-step install instructions for your wallet, step-by-step install instructions for the miner. You may want to do it on Linux. You may want to do it on Hive OS. Windows, I think, is very clear and very easy to do. And Safe.Trade, you can set up your account. I'm not going to go through that. And all that other stuff. I think all the detailed stuff you can find on other videos, look up it on AI, whatever. I'm not going to waste your time with it. But this is just a video to my viewers that may be on salad still, that you should probably check out Pearl, even if it is only going to last another week or another 2 weeks or whatever. Heck, it may last a month or two. But as of right now, today, you will be making way more on Pearl than you will be most likely on these other platforms. All right, so thanks for stopping by today. I know it was a little bit of a longer video, but I just wanted to get this information out in case if you didn't know it, because I had watched a poll just yesterday of somebody posting, are you mining Pearl was the question. 25% said yes, 25% said no, and 50+%, I know it's not exactly, but over 50% has said what's Pearl? Well, this is what Pearl is. It is a crypto project, that you can mine on your NVIDIA graphics cards and make some good money on the side for right now and not consume as much power as these AI rental platforms like Salad do consume. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer as usual. And don't be like me and don't go out and buy a graphics card just because this new thing is out. I wanted one anyway to tinker with, but this video is for informational purposes and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Until next time, peace.